sun at the library at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on March 21st. And that's aimed for kind of after school kind of things to fit. And it'll be pretty much the same. So I don't know that I would go to more than one of them, but feel free. So let me turn the lights off because there's going to be some pretty things to see. And I'm not one of them. So the Cat Stevens song. When we see an eclipse, of course, we're following the moon's shadow. Right? It's the moon that's producing the eclipse by passing between us and the sun. But this half is lit. This half is dark. Right? If I move it here, what am I seeing? Nothing. Right? I mean, I can see the dark side of my moon, although we'll come back to that in a minute. And of course, if I go over here, that's right, exactly right. Let me move this into the light. What do you think I'm seeing when it's about there? I'm seeing a sliver of this half-lit face. Now, from above, both my head and the moon are half-lit all the time. Right? I'm half but as this changes, especially if you're over here, you can see as it changes, there's a change in how much of it's lit. When I get it over here, it's all the face toward me is lit, right? So that's full. So we go through these phases because of the changing angle. Now there's a problem with that whole analogy, or that whole description, because it's tough to come up with the scales. You see drawings like this. I was trying to show the same thing. It really is not a bad one. One thing that drives me nuts is they always put these extra things of the moon here. Those are what the moon looks like from someone on Earth. Ignore those for a minute, right? And just take the half-lit Earth, the half-lit moon, going in orbit, and the sun is over here. Is it this close?
No.
It's way far away, right? So that it's going around like this, and this is why we see phases. Okay. Or I can do it like this. That's a top-down view, kind of the same idea, right? When I'm teaching this in a class, I usually draw pictures on the board, but they're not as pretty as this. Okay, so tiny part of the Earth. Let's adjust our scale. This is no longer the moon, this is the Earth. This is the moon, my cat's toy. 2-inch bulb, 9-inch bulb, roughly the right size ratio. However, if this is the moon, if that's the Earth, the moon, you guys look right toward us, look to the side, it's a little dimmer. Why? Because it's gas. And we're not seeing through as much stuff when we look through as warm as stuff when we look to the side as when we look straight ahead. It's called limb darkening, but it won't change your day to know that. These are sunspots. The Earth is about that big. By comparison, about 1 million Earths would fit in the sun if anybody thought that was a good idea.
Isn't it like 106 Earths for the circumference or something?
Yep, the diameter is about a factor of 100.
Yeah.
The Earth's diameter is around 8,000 kilometers. The sun's diameter is around 700,000 kilometers. So yeah. Sorry, that's a radius. So this is the layer that we see most of the time. So much light comes from this that it makes eclipses of the sun wherever they occurred on the Earth, including Tahiti.
Hey, hey.
And they lost track of time and they weren't sure whether it was the eclipse day or not. What was going on that island anyway? But anyway, it was the international date. Anyway, Kim Malvo, he's still around, good guy. He studied the corona at eclipses and they got to go, but during my lifetime, they figured out how to put spacecraft up that would take pictures of the corona, again, multiple times a minute. The first one of these, by the way, was in 1973 when I graduated from high school. The Skylab went up and they started studying the corona from space that way. And it was a complete game change for understanding how that part of the sun worked. This little white circle in here is how big the photosphere of the sun is, the yellow part. This blocks out the inner corona. This is the sky. Most of the white dots in here are stars. this is a violent event that's sending things out into space, and when those things come to the Earth, they cause aurora borealis, northern lights and southern. CMEs, coronal mass ejections. It's